Hello, I'm your host Jim McLean. Welcome back to another episode of the Banterflix Movie Review Show here on NVTV. Joining me in the studio this evening is Jared McNeil.
Thanks for having me.
And Dr. Nicole Hamilton.
Thanks for having me.
Hello to you both. Let's see what we've lined up tonight. We'll be reviewing Wicked Little Letters, which was released in cinemas last week. We'll be showcasing the latest Film Devour Short Film Festival. Our pick of the streams is Bottoms, which is available now on Amazon Prime. And Dr. Carolyn North will pick the first movie from our Women Make Film season. So that's what we've lined up for you this evening. So without any further ado, let's kick things off and talk a bit of movie news.
Yeah. Weren't we supposed to vote today?
What?
So that's a clip of Ryan Gosling performing I'm Just Ken. What can I say? The man has a special place in my heart. And even more this week, we learned, and it has been confirmed, that Ryan Gosling is going to be performing at the Academy Awards. I'm Just Ken. I'm looking forward to the madness that's going to be on screen. It's going to hark back to the days of Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie. That was a reason to stay up late into the night and watch that. I think I have a new reason, and it's not just because I have a man crush on Ryan Gosling. Jared, I'm looking at you, picturing maybe Ryan Gosling a little bit. Are you excited by this? Or are you going to be staying up to watch the Academy Awards? Has this given you a reason? It's going to be on ITV. It's going to be on Freeview television this time, for the first time I can think of in years. Are you going to be staying up?
I think on this instance I will be, especially as it's on Freeview now. Whereas before you would have to pay to be able to view it. I'm looking forward, as you said, to the chaos, because there was a little bit of controversy around the award that he won for that song. So I'm really looking forward, especially to the likes of Twitter, just to see what happens, just to see what's put out there, because it's definitely going to be a bit of a minefield, I would say. I
think I'm going to stay up now, and it's all because of Dream Boy Ryan. Nicole, what about you? Would you stay up to watch the Academy Awards? If not, would Ryan Gosling performing I'm Just Ken be enough for you? Would it be enough?
I used to, whenever I was younger, I would find a slightly dodgy stream online and watch like the entire red carpet, everything. I was so excited about it. I haven't done the last couple of years, and I would like to, but I'll probably be up early the next morning, so I want to see it. I want to see the whole thing, so I'm going to attempt it. We'll see how well that actually goes. But Ryan Gosling is not enough for me personally. I'm
just hoping, at 41 I'm going to be able to stay up, but I was able to sit up and watch the Super Bowl. So maybe the similar things are going to happen. Jared, I'm going to come to you. You were saying there was a trailer caught your eye this week just before you came into the studio. You wanted to give a mention to because you're a fan of a particular genre of cinema.
Kevin Costner's new movie, Horizon, American Saga, was just released, and it's a two-parter. I believe it's coming out in June, and then the second part will be August, same year, this year. Really enjoy Westerns. I don't feel like that there's enough of them out there. I feel like they sort of have a little bit of a resurgence, and then they sort of fade away, and then something will come back, and it will reignite that want, that need to have a Western epic. So really looking forward to this one, really looking to see if Kevin Costner can pull it out of the bag. A lot of his own money is riding on this, but from what I've seen in the trailers, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a banger.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. Excited by that. And Nicole, you were annoying me not personally, as we came into the studio, because you reminded me there's a little bit of movie news that I find depressing, and I'm hoping you find equally as depressing too.
Yes, American Psycho is apparently going to be getting a remake of some sorts, a modern day remake, I think, which is quite interesting considering it's very, very much steeped in kind of late 80s ideology and aesthetics. I don't know if there's an actor that can pull off that role. now. I've seen some people on Twitter saying that we need somebody who is both conventionally attractive and a little freak to play that character, and I don't know that we have that, really.
Well, I'll say right from the get-go, I'm going to rule myself out of the running for that. You know, I just don't know if I have the commitments with the TV show and other works. But anyway, look, those are two films at some point in the year. I know with Kevin Costner we'll see later this year. We don't know when we'll see the American Psycho remake. Maybe, hopefully not. But those are down the line. I think we'll move on and talk about a film we have seen this week.
The mystery of the obscene little Hampton letter is causing widespread distress across the nation.
Holy heavens. Carry on. Dear Edith, you foxy ass old whore.
In the end, I think it's just jealousy.
Do you feel certain Rose Gooding's guilty?
I can't see why they think it's me. Some of the Virgin making history here. I was a bit roisterous once or twice.
It's time you owned up to these letters.
Rose Gooding, who allegedly harassed a pretty young Christian woman.
So that's a look at Wicked Little Letters, out in cinemas last week, starring Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. This film's a little bit naughty. There's some naughty words. There's but everything thrown in there. Words we couldn't possibly say on air here at NVTV. So hopefully our producers remember to bleep those comments. So we've all seen this. I really enjoyed this. I think it's a little bit of a cookie cutter movie in the sense of how it's put together. But I think it's also, right now in 2024, this idea of poison letters being sent to people with offensive, nasty things. And I know Olivia Colman's talked about this, about we live in a world now where online trolling is sadly ever present. I know here at the show we've had it a couple of times over the years, but yeah, it's been there, and I think this is a reminder that this idea of trolling is not a modern thing. It goes back many, many years, and also I know in March we're going to be talking about women making film, and that season there's a lot of things about gender politics in this film. As I say, it's a bit cookie cutter. I enjoyed it, but I think it's very easy to underestimate some of the big themes it's dealing with. Nicole, I'll come to you first. So, did you like this film?
I did. I had a really good time with it. I saw it on my own and I was completely alone in the cinema as well, so was able to just kind of laugh at some of the stupid stuff to myself and not feel silly about it and just have a good time with it. I agree with what you're saying. Some of the themes involving like suffrage and things like that surprised me, actually, even though I knew that it was kind of set around the same time period, but it surprised me with how overtly it was choosing to deal with those themes. I thought it was going to be something that kind of just sat like under the radar a little bit, but it was very, very present throughout the film, which I really liked.
Olivia Colman, shock horror, I'm going to say, is rather fab in this role. But Jessie Buckley, I do think there's a little bit of too much of the effing and the jeffing within her performance that it does disarm you. I think there's less is more, I think, in that regard. But hey, that's me being a little bit prudish. And after some of the language we've saw in this film, I will not get my clutch handbag out. Jared, what about you? What's your thoughts?
Again, I absolutely loved it as well. Thought it was fantastic. Even watching the trailer, it got some genuine laugh out loud moments from me. So, you know, for me, that's very rare in movies today. Whenever I went into the cinema to watch it, I knew that I was in for a treat. Felt that it was a bit slow in places, but I think that's because of the themes that it's trying to tell the viewer in a little bit of a nuanced way. But I also think that's the reason why when the punchline and the gags come, that's so much more funnier. Absolutely loved everything to do with it. Olivia Colman, again, absolutely fantastic. How she can convey so much expression on her face in some of the explosive moments within the film. Just fantastic. It was great.
I will say this. I was surprised at how busy the screening was. A real mix of an audience who laughed anywhere there was a bit of naughty words. So I'm going to be interested. I'll come back to you, of course, Jared. We are going to be moving on in just a moment. But Nicole, the language for you, what did you think?
I didn't mind it. Like you, I'm not going to be clutching my handbag at all. I was kind of surprised almost that it just kept coming. I don't know if I expected it to stop or slow down at some point, but Jessie Buckley just kept going through the entire thing. She'd never stopped, and there were moments where it didn't quite work for me. It made her kind of caricature-ish sometimes, but hearing her call somebody just the best. It's great, and I love Jessie Buckley, so I'm happy to watch her do anything.
Yes, we need to bring the word back more often. Jared, for you, are you going to be clutching your handbag anytime soon?
Absolutely not, no. I loved it, loved everything, even, up until that penultimate finale at the end. It was absolutely fantastic, and who cannot laugh at the word? Brilliant, brilliant.
It might not be someone's cup of tea and face value, but I think we're all agreeing we would recommend anyone take the punt. So that's our big release of this week. Before we move on to our pick of the streams, earlier in the week we went down to the Black Box here in Belfast to showcase the latest Film Devar Short Film Festival.
Without an audience, a filmmaker is just somebody sitting in the room all alone with nobody to show a film to. So it's so crucial and so wonderful to be able to show a film in public to strangers and to film lovers, and just to hear the reaction in the room, to hear laughter or gasps. It just brings the film alive. Here in the Black Box on a Monday night, it's Film Devar number 34. Great selection of short films from Northern Irish filmmakers from all kinds of backgrounds. I'm a filmmaker too. I'm showing a film there tonight that I wrote and directed called 3 Wishes. Really hope it goes well. Hope people enjoy it. Really enjoying all the films I'm seeing tonight, so lovely to see other people's work.
Like I've always said to kind of anyone who's been here, Devar's been my film school. Because you've to, it gives you a deadline. You have to make a film every kind of 3 or 4 months, and it was brilliant. And you get to watch it with an audience.
Oh, it's amazing. I love coming here. I mean, I come here even if I'm not in anything. It's just to meet everybody, just to stay in the community, to support the community.
I see relationships basically built, and people go off and work together, and then they come back and show their stuff on screen. So it's absolutely integral. Then there's an audience member. If you're not involved in that, you can just come and watch locally made stories. The Director's Choice Award went to Monochrome by Aidan Largy, which is a worthy winner. Aidan was basically submitted to the first ever Devar, and he's been basically a filmmaker who's grown since that first Devar.
Thank you.
The Audience Choice went to Coffin Fit, Thomas McKeown, starring Kathy Brennan-Bradley, who's a familiar face to anyone who came to Devar. She's been starred in a lot of movies, and she's an incredible actress.
I'm rather chuffed and delighted and shocked and surprised and all that kind of stuff. It really deserves it because Thomas, the writer and director, is just pure awesome.
My name is John Monaghan, and I wrote and directed Owner of a Lonely Heart. To be the opening film and to watch my own short was just great, and to see it with an audience and catch that reaction as well was just brilliant.
The Short Take is a night that me and Ricky Davis run in the Strand. It's a short film night for film lovers, focused on directors. When we kind of do a retrospective of the director's work, we like to be able to see where they've come from, see their kind of progression through short films into feature films. And now we're very proud to announce having Aisling Clarke show her films in the Strand.
So we'll be screening some of Aisling Clarke's work from throughout her career, so early career shorts, chatting to Aisling, she'll be there, maybe some clips from her longer form stuff as well, questions from the audience.
Aisling's an incredible Irish filmmaker. She has a real pedigree of work. She really impressed with a breakthrough film called Devil's Doorway. A lot of people might remember. She's working on an Irish language horror film called Free Waka that some people might have seen in preview of during Belfast Film Festival. And of course, like a lot of filmmakers, she started off with short films. I'm thrilled that Film Devar has returned. I'm so glad that they're back showing short films to the community.
Filmmakers, and encourage any young filmmakers or just any filmmakers at all, if you want to come somewhere in Belfast and meet other filmmakers and see your thing on the screen, I'd say Devar is, try and get into it, because it's so different than when you see it on your laptop.
Oh, it's so important. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the whole independent scene. Even a generation of people who are now just starting to make stuff after COVID. Like, I was telling them, you gotta submit to Devar, and you know, it's going to give people a platform. It's going to give people a deadline. It's actually really important to get in a room with people and watch your films.
They're getting out and they're doing it. So you cannot comment on anything else other than, yes, go you. You're getting out and you're doing it, and you're bringing it to us to laugh and watch and really enjoy it.
Do you know what? I rely on my great team, and it's almost a well-oiled machine now, you know. But equally, I look forward to, after the stress and stuff, I kind of, when the movies are running and they're working, I look forward to seeing them with an audience, because I've seen them on a laptop a few times to make sure they work, and I've liked what I've liked and stuff. But until you see it with an audience, it's just, you can't really put your finger on it. It's the collective, you know. It's just scenes work much better, films work much better with an audience, you know.
So that's our showcase of the Film Devar Short Film Festival. Check out Devar's socials if you're interested in submitting your film, because they are going to be looking for submissions later this year for their next event. And you also heard us showcasing the Short Take, which is going to be happening at the Strand on the 8th of March. With that, let's move on to our pick of the streams.
What's your plan here?
Jeff is psychotic, and they're picking on the weak and defenseless.
So, we teach a bunch of girls how to defend themselves.
They are grateful to us. Adrenaline is flowing. Next thing you know, Isabel and Brittany are kissing us on the mouth. We were wondering if you wanted to be our women's club advisor.
I'll sign off on your period club.
Amazing. What? Welcome to our fight club. Josie is gonna start by showing you all how to throw a solid punch.
So that's a look at Bottoms. It's available now on Amazon Prime. A coming-of-age high school drama with a queer twist, directed by Emma Seligman. I'm going to come to you first, Nicole. What do you think of this film?
I really like this film. I've seen it twice now. I watched it back last summer initially, and then watched it again for this, and actually had a better time with it the second time round. Whenever it first came out, I saw people comparing it to Jawbreaker from the 90s, which I love. It's one of my favourite films. And with that in mind, I kind of felt slightly let down just because it wasn't quite as insane as that movie is. And then the second time round, knowing what kind of movie I was kind of in for, I had a great time. I laughed so much. I showed it to a couple of my friends who didn't know anything about it pretty much, and they also really enjoyed it. So
I usually have a tin ear for that type of shouty brand of comedy, but this film is so bonkers. There's a lot of heart in this film for all its silly, violent, female empowerment, Fight Club-esque, weird, kind of over-the-top violent sequences. It's a lot of fun. It is manic in the best possible way, and for someone looking something a little bit different, I would definitely recommend seeking out Bottoms. Never has that phrase been muttered in any other context without any rude subtext at all. So very quickly moving on. Jared, what did you think of Bottoms?
I have to admit, I did struggle with it at the beginning. I think it's more so to do with, I think I'm over the sort of high school comedy trope of, you know, the misfits that are struggling to fit in, that come up with a crazy plan on how they're going to become popular and everyone's going to like them. But I'm glad I stuck with it because of the incredibly outlandish and over the top direction it suddenly takes, you know, probably about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through. You know, you've touched on pineapple juice filled sprinklers, you know, you've got car bombs, you've got fight scenes, you know, the whole way through it. The teacher, the sponsor of this self-defense club, as they marketed it in the movie, who has absolutely no clue as to what's going on. I really did enjoy it. There's obviously a lot of themes there that, you know, it's touching on and it's expressing on throughout the entirety of it. But when I got to the end, I realized I liked it. It was a bit of a struggle for me at the beginning because of that trope, but I'm glad I watched it. It was fun. It was great.
I'm the same boat. I mean, I really was struggling with the film. I was like, oh. I am a fan of the director's previous film, Shiva Baby, starring Rachel Sennett, who returns here, and she's also got a writing credit as well. I think she's also producing this film as well. I loved it. I would recommend anyone seeking out. So I think that is 2 for 2 on this week's show. So positive start. We haven't disagreed that much. And I don't know, as we come to our last feature, whether we're going to be disagreeing too much. It's going to be interesting to see. But last month, of course, we had our love season. Don't need any more love right now. Not till next year anyway. I'm not that needy. But throughout March now, we're going to be showcasing women making film in front of, behind the camera, actors, directors, writers. And kicking it all off is Dr. Caroline North, who has, I think, a great choice to kick things off.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Caroline North. I just want to say a big thank you to Jim and everyone at Banterflix for allowing me to choose one of the films for the Women in Cinema series. So for my choice, I've picked The Matrix by the Wachowski sisters, and there's a couple of reasons behind that decision. First of all, it's just an iconic movie. It's got brilliant action scenes, even 24 years on, nearly 25. It's produced at a time where technology was growing rapidly, where we were about to move into the 21st century, where capitalism was sort of turning towards late stage postmodern capitalism. And I think you can see a lot of those themes within The Matrix. However, it's not just film that I want to talk about. This is women in cinema, and I want to talk about the Wachowski sisters because they are also iconic. Lana Wachowski was the first big Hollywood director to come out as transgender, way back in 2008, actually. I was going to say not too long ago, but it's long ago. And Lily Wachowski followed in 2016. Now, this is interesting because they have since said that The Matrix was a trans allegory. And that puts a whole new spin on it from a critical perspective and from a viewer perspective, especially given that The Matrix itself and the narrative around The Matrix has been co-opted by the incel movement. We hear a lot about red pilling these days as a kind of way to reject the femininity of society and to become more masculine. But actually, if you look at the red pill in The Matrix, it's very similar to estrogen tablets, which were sold in the 90s. And if you want to look that up, they're very, very similar pills. Also Switch, who's one of the main characters in The Matrix, Keanu Reeves has talked about how in the first draft of that, Switch was actually meant to be male in the real world and female in The Matrix. However, by the time the second draft rolled around, that had been removed. And again, Lana Wachowski has talked about how corporate America just wasn't, or corporate film America, I suppose, just wasn't ready for that narrative, and is incredibly glad that people are talking about it now. Again, it might be difficult for maybe the younger viewers to grasp, but for those of us who are pushing on in the years, the internet was relatively new and access was booming, so technology and technological advancements became almost a space of exploration. No one was sitting down with you to talk about trans issues or why you didn't feel like you fit in with the world or why things felt different. However, you could find that online, and there's plenty of people who talk about how The Matrix resonates with them for that reason. Now, by the same token, it also resonates with a large part of the general populace as well. And that is to do with the fact that it portrays what a lot of us feel today, which is the kind of broken down, tired worker who, lived through Reagan's exceptionalism era, where every man, you look at Die Hard, was meant to be big and brave and masculine, and came out the other side to this kind of 90s malaise of you're not special, you're not important. And in fact, Neo was told that right at the beginning by his boss in his little cubicle. And it's not until he becomes the one that he starts to gain this importance. So it's an interesting film. It can be taken either as a trans allegory, as the director kind of originally wrote it, or the directors originally wrote it, or it can indeed just be taken whatever way the reader wants, or the watcher, I suppose, wants to view it. The fact remains that 25 years on, we're still talking about it. I'm still recording a video to show it, and I hope that you enjoy it and you take from it whatever narrative you feel.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
Mr. Anderson. He's beginning to believe he is the one.
So that's Dr. Carolyn North's choice, The Matrix. A great choice to kick things off. And I know she's talked quite considerably there about why she has picked that title. You realise just what an influence it's had on cinema. Here's another film by the Wachowskis, two fantastic filmmakers, and I'm someone who also loved The Matrix Resurrections. As flawed as it was when it came out, I love their vision. They have an amazing back catalogue in terms of what they do, and a unique vision, unique filmmakers, but without a doubt, The Matrix is just one of the most influential action movies, sci-fi movies that I can think that you can still see influence in cinema. I'm going to excuse myself from this love fest. Nicole, I'll come to you first. So are you a fan of The Matrix? Do you think it's a great choice from Caroline?
Absolutely. The Matrix is fantastic. It's probably the coolest movie ever. Like, I don't think anything tops how cool Trinity looks all the time. I know everybody will talk about Neo, but I'm here to talk about Trinity because I love her. But it's just, there's almost no words for how good this movie is. Like, it's something that could easily be dismissed as just a typical genre film, but sitting down to watch it, it is a genre film, obviously, but it is so much more than that. It asks us to consider our place in the world and everything around us, which is kind of terrifying, because if you're somebody like me who has spent far too much time in the Glitch in the Matrix Reddit thread, it's kind of scary whenever you notice the amount of things that are a wee bit weird, but it's just fantastic. I don't think anybody has a visual style quite like the Wachowskis do. Even the Wachowskis don't really have a visual style like the Wachowskis anymore, to be honest.
Jared, I know we're wrapping things up, but your thoughts on The Matrix? It's not a bad old movie, is it?
No, I think it was a technical marvel for the time when it was released in 1999. It had both the practical effects, but it also made great use of green screens and CGI. And you know, if CGI is done well, I know it gets a lot of hate these days, but if there's a lot of time and effort put into CGI, you can't really tell unless you're looking for it, which again was fantastic for the time. And it is one of my all-time movies, especially as somebody who is a bit of a gamer and loves delving into different universes. You can't go wrong with Matrix. You can't go wrong with it.
No, you can't. We'll not talk too much. We don't have time to talk about the sequels. They are bloated films, and I think there's one film there where the initial two sequels were. With that, unfortunately, we are out of time. So all that is left for me to do now this evening is to thank my two guests. So thank you very much, Jared.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for watching at home. We'll be back next week with another episode. But for now, until then, goodbye.